moving to oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
The word joy, my guest, was the only intention, she said, for this podcast. Everyone, you should know that I always do that with my guests. Before the recording starts, we see what is to unfold and what the podcast is going to bring in to the world and to humanity. And the fun thing was, while I asked her to add to the intention, outside the children were laughing. It finally stopped. Yeah, they're outside and they're having fun, and now they're running around the street. They'll be back, and I think they will underline the whole time our podcasts today, moving to oneness show, where it is so important for, I believe, to start including our children in everything. They have been too separated out of our spiritual journey. I wish myself that even in rituals, in ceremonies, they're invited again from the youngest age on, even the children that are still on the breast of their mothers. And that we also invite all the elders. It is important to bring them all in, because each one brings something. And then even if they're laughing or crying or maybe a little bit more loud, that exactly that is needed in the moment, because every being brings in every moment an intention to their living here on this planet. So with those words that arose, and you're smiling so beautifully, Jen, I want to welcome you to the Moving to Oneness show. And you're bright in the morning in San Francisco today.
That's right. Here I am. So glad to be here.
Yeah, and you have your big heart, and I think that is what I love so much about you. I don't think that is what it is. That attracted me to you, and that's why we had so beautiful, heartfelt conversations before, is because that's the only thing that is important to you, even though you have an extreme large toolbox in life experiences, and you're going to share those with us today, and they'll unfold in our conversation. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the heart that's behind you, the painting, please.
I actually painted it. I was looking for a painting when I moved previously, and I wanted something big that I could hang behind my bed. Mm-hmm. But I landed up painting this heart and writing on it. I bought an old painting and just painted over it. And I realized I wanted it to look at it. I didn't want it behind me. I wanted to be able to see it. And so it just brings me great joy. Since I did this, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I just love it. I love looking at it. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's like a portal to love, a reminder, a constant reminder of the love that exists and that you also carry for the world.
Right. Everything is love, or all we need is love. All those kind of trite sayings that we have are just so true that it's all comes back to that. It's how do we carry love? How do we present love? How do we engage with love? How do we live with love?
Do you have a quick tip someone can connect to love and feel it? Because I remember I've spoken with a few people and I said, how do you feel love? And they couldn't reach that. They couldn't tune into love. What would you advise a person like that to find a key to open their heart a little bit, to soften it, to expand it, so they can sense, first of all, their own heart, but especially also the heart and the love that comes toward them?
So one thing that I think is really connects us is to be able to feel that this is an organ, because the concept of love can be very intangible and hard to grasp. But when you think about an organ in your body that is connected, or is that part of your breath, and you think about, or I think about lighting it up or being filled with a color, with an energy, that it makes me feel, I can feel that. I can put my hand on my heart. I can feel the energy. I can picture the idea of this space inside of me that is filled with energy of any color. It can be rainbow. And it just makes me want to smile when I think about it. When I think about, oh, there's a place here. It's kind of like if you think about a butterfly or something, it's the center part that really just like, oh, I can feel it connecting. I also think that, the touch, putting your hand on, there's ways you can move your hands around. Those are the kinds of things that make us realize, oh, I have a body, oh, I breathe. It's as simple as that, just like thinking about breath, how powerful breath is. It's a very simple thing, but it's something we do. And something I tell people is that what they say is, if our brain stops working, right, we're still alive. But if our heart stops working, we're dead.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that this is my heart, this is my breath, and the breath is the essence of life. It's even the numbers, like, or the zeros, like the 2 zeros are about the breath, and that's the number 8, and that's the number 0, and that's the energy of breathing in and breathing out. Like, we automatically breathe in, but we often forget to release our breath. We don't even realize we're holding our breath, or we're not even thinking about breath. And that's what it is. It's like giving yourself a breath. Oh, I feel tense, or I'm not sure what's happening. If I just breathe in and just breathe out, I'm reconnecting to my body, and I'm reconnecting to that energy, that sense inside of me that connects me to love.
Oh, I love that. That's so that is so true, and it's a very beautiful and a simple, easy, in a way, meditative meditation or tool or action that you can do or do with someone else, right? Maybe even touch their heart. And if you don't have a partner, but maybe you have a child, that's something beautiful also to teach a child, or just to have fun and do it with someone. It connects us.
Right, right. And there are some techniques they talk about that I find very fascinating, is to think about, if you put your hand on your heart and you want to shift your consciousness from irritation or upset or something, is breathing in love, right? So you breathe in love, and then maybe you want to send that love to someone, like, maybe even someone you're irritated with, or someone who needs something from you. And so you can create that circular motion, or that figure 8 between your heart and the heart of others, those you want to connect with.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful thing. I remember when my son, I didn't do it, was smaller, and in school, I didn't do it so much with love, but I thought about harmony, and I sent harmony to the school, even the school building, the teachers, anything that was involved, and back and forth, and it creates the circulation, or in right. It creates a beautiful space, and you start feeling it, and you feel also the change if you hone into it, and also the thankfulness. There's a
Right.
thankfulness for someone else, and in a way, it's all very surprising for me, always as the giver. Yeah, I've done a lot of long distance healings too. It is the moment when you feel the connection, and then there's the softening. Uh, there is this gentleness that you can feel in the energy. It becomes so whimsical in a way, because it can go like this, right? It doesn't isn't like a big stream, and then you know, oh yes, something is changing. This is a beautiful idea to do that also with the heart. And yeah, at the end, we all want a love, right? I think you're totally right. Anyone on this planet who misses it. Most of us, I think, around the world. Maybe the younger generation, they don't do that so much, and a few lucky ones. But if you just send it out to anyone who would love to receive it, this helps extreme, like to raise the vibration here on earth, and it provides a new understanding for love, or for oneself, or for the connection to one's heart, to the connections to other hearts. And it facilitates then little bit abstract topic, right? Because it's rather abstract. And also, if you speak about universal love, ooh, then if you've been immersed within that topic, then it is a little bit easier. But still, there, I think, if I observe others, for many it is, they want to believe, but there's always a trickling where they can't believe, or they want, what is the word in English? Beweis. They want they want something tangible. They want to really know if it's true. But
Right.
there's nothing like that except your own trust in your own feeling, in your own sensations, or as I just spoke, right? When you feel that the energy changes, or maybe you have a knowing, or you hear words suddenly that say, yeah, it worked, and that you believe yourself and you trust yourself that that is true. What would you say to that, Jen?
Yes, I think the abstract thing that really screws people's minds, like we're trying to see something tangible and we don't understand so many of the concepts because they don't make sense, because people don't, people say things like, oh, I love you, or if you love me, you do this. It's a lot of manipulation, a lot of, the body knows that it's a lie. But one of the things that strikes me as you were talking is what's so important is to think about sending love to oneself, because we have to be the receptor and the giver to ourselves in order to understand that this exists in the world. So we make it real or tangible by feeling it for ourselves. Because what we seek from others is that they love us and they prove they love us. But what we have to do in order to recognize it is feel the love for ourselves. So feel the compassion, feel the love, because what we give to ourselves, we give to the world. So when we go, I love myself, and what does that feel like? And let myself feel like that, like just talking to the body. What does it feel like to feel love? What does it feel like to be, flooded with liquid gold, or the sense of just total acceptance of who I am? Like that's joyful, like just walking in sunlight. Is this love? Like, asking those kinds of questions, being curious. And what I find too is that just from our own way of thinking and treating ourselves, like we'll often say things that, like horrible things to ourselves, because we're not doing something right, or because we're still tied to a memory of something that happened to us children. So that is the time when we want to practice the actual intangible on ourselves and go, okay, what does it look like when I can be loving to myself and forgiving to myself because, I did something wrong, or I have the wrong idea, or whatever it is. I don't know what to do in this situation. So just realizing that by having that compassion, that listening, that going, yes, okay, you didn't know how to do it, but it's okay because I'm here and I'm going to help you. Like, we have to be the one that helps our own inner child, that helps the broken parts, or what we consider the broken parts of ourselves, to kind of get over it. But we don't get over it without love, because that's the glue. It's the kindness and the gentleness that we have for ourselves, that as we expand that, we then have that for someone else. So we can be kind to someone else and gentle to someone else who is having a hard time doing something that might irritate us normally.
Yeah, this is, this is all this feeling loved, right? We never do something wrong. First of all, I think
Exactly.
there is, when we think, yeah, we are told by our cultures or societies we are doing things wrong because we're not doing things they want us to do. This is one thing, and we have embodied that into ourselves. But in a way, anything I do, it leads to something else, which leads to something else, maybe a discovery, a change of work, a change of a living place. There's so many things that are needed maybe to make the decision finally to use another path. The list goes on, to discover something. And in that way, I think that will, if you look at this way, you don't have this horrible grip on yourself, this tightness of saying, oh my God, you're not worth anything. And we are supposed to be made feeling not worthy. That's why we have this whole game with the vocabulary of worth. I think that should be eradicated. Worthless, worthful, take it away. It has nothing to do with our presence as a human being, as a light being here on this planet. And I think that's why especially very sensitive people or beings, they don't feel that they fit in, that they're on the wrong place or the wrong family or the wrong job. They can't be who they are. And I think you do exactly so beautifully. You provide to people the light. You're the beacon of light that they can look through themselves a little bit and to discover themselves, who they are and where to go to. And you spoke about, and I was just thinking while I'm looking at your painting, your website has the same reddish pink and this white in the center. Everyone, she was, I told you Jen lives in San Francisco, right? But also she's the light in the fog. That is the big title that's on your website, Jen. So that's on her website. And that's what she brings to you. And San Francisco, even for a German, it's very foggy. That's what it's known for. You barely see that bridge, which that bridge is also a little bit in those red tones, just a little darker, right? But the illumination starts at the heart. If we want to illuminate ourselves, we have to go back to the rituals that start with illumination of the heart, the throat, the head, and then the full body. So you are really also an igniter to just start the spark that is within a person. How did you get there?
Yes, an interesting journey. So when I was very young, I was very woke, as they call it. I was very connected to the light. I even remember how I was just dazzled by the light, and I would ride my little tricycle around under the mulberry tree, talking to the fairies and all of that. But then when I got older, I got very conditioned and gave that all up, because I thought, talking about fitting in or whatever, I thought that was how it worked. In my mind, it was, oh, this isn't what's true. I just got to fit in and just stop trying to tell people that this is what I know is true and just go, oh yeah, you're right. And I've got to become that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I did for many, many years until I just came to a standstill, like just couldn't go anymore because there was no more light. Basically, the light had all gone. And so at that point, I had like two choices. One was to like, okay, I'm just gonna, leave Earth, kill myself or something like that, or I will have to change my ways. And so I chose to change my ways. And I decided to follow the light or to do what came to me as opposed to trying to fit in. So,
I like that you said it came to you, but I'm really curious. Can you remember what made you change? Was there a certain thing, a thought, a person you met, a being that spoke to you?
I think part of it was when I had my daughter. And so when she was at a certain age, I was trying to get her to have a different experience than I had. But I wasn't communicating very well. And I felt like I couldn't get through to her really. Like she was saying to me, you're the kind of person, and she was like I don't know, 12 or something, and she was like, you're the kind of person that gets on the airplane and puts the mask on someone else before you put it on yourself. And this is before they started talking about that stuff, and I was like, oh my God, what am I teaching my child? What am I saying? So I realized I couldn't communicate with her, and I needed to be able to communicate with her better. I was still going through my whole, shutting down, but that was the thing that kind of started the spark. And I decided to look for a way that I could learn to communicate with her better. And that took me to the spiritual path, because I'd completely shut everything down to that. And so I met somebody who was teaching me about, how to communicate. And then I came into another spiritual person who was doing like hand analysis. And then I had some of that done. I'd never had any of those things done. And I realized like a lot of my ideas, even though in my mind I'd thought like, yeah, I'm an open-minded person. Yeah, I believe that stuff, but it wasn't real to me. And that's the difference between having an intellectual idea and living it. Talk about working through your heart is when it's true for you, then what do you do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you do when it's true to you? You have to be courageous.
Right. You have to take a risk. You have to do things. And so that's what I did. I just started to do these things, and I realized that there's a point in your life, like what will you give up to take this path? And that point was, yes, I'll give up anything I've experienced or anything I have, because I need that so much. I need to learn how to be present in my body. I need to feel joy. I wasn't feeling any joy. I was like, when I was going through this process and I went to an event and, one event to the other and just started growing and expanding and realizing more things, I was like, when was the last time I really laughed and had an experience? And so as I was going through it, I went to an event where a woman who was running the event came and she said, oh, my guides want to share some information. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's total bullshit. And I was like, but I couldn't leave because there was only like, 25 people in the room. But I stayed. I was like, yeah, I'm going to look and see, I'm sure that this is going to, all will be revealed about a fake. But instead, what happened was I actually started to listen to what these beings were saying and how it landed. And I was like, yeah, human beings take themselves way too seriously. They're carrying all this baggage, and, things are going to be changing very quickly. And that was in 2011 or 2010, the end of 2010. And so I realized like, wow, yeah, I've lived my life as if all this stuff is true, like that people have said is true, even though there was a part of me that knew that wasn't real. I
Yeah,
bought
in a
it.
way, you really had turned down taking the symbol that you have on your website, right? The light tower, a
Right.
lighthouse,
The lighthouse.
right? That you had turned off that light, and it becomes really, if you've put away the matches and you don't know where that oils, if you look at the old-fashioned lighthouse, right?
Right.
And even the mechanics again to make it turn around so it can go and to send out that light is a lot of energy, and also to say no, this is now what I want to do, whatever there is, because if you have closed, it's really hard to open up again, because all of the thoughts and that you have had about yourself, that you are not who you are, and that could not be really what you thought is the truth, because others told you, right? Whatever you did as a child or saw was wrong, and there were reasons why you to say then, oh no, open up again, become curious, and you follow your way. I love that you just said the words that you cannot not really follow your path, and you moved from one country to another one, right? You came to the US. Now you're even on the whim, everyone. You have to tell that everyone, Jen, too. She just told me she's going to Portugal next month. And I said, oh, it's nice. Beautiful country, a lot of beautiful ancient sacred sites, a lot of places to be re-illuminated. That's probably the reason why you're going there, Jen. And you said, oh yeah, I've been there. And I thought, oh my God, you're just going there, packing everything up, and following your own intuition, following the sparks of light that are still in a way coming through the fog, fogged up, right? Saying, oh, come here, come here, come here. And you say, yes, I'm going to pack up and change continents. Share that a little bit with everyone.
Right. So yeah, I just feel like it's time for me to move. And I believe that I can be more useful to myself and to the world, and more in alignment by going to a place that is calling me to expand myself. And that's I was kind of guided to go to Portugal. So that's where I'm going. And yes, it's just deciding because I can, right? Like, I believe that not only my own journey, but the journey of COVID and all of the things we've gone through, and what I've been shown and what we are all being shown, is that we get to have this experience that even if we believe we've lived in many lifetimes and whatever, this is the lifetime we are in now. And these are the choices we're making. And the soul that we have has a desire, like that's part of our destiny, our plan, etc. When our soul comes into a body in this lifetime, or whatever lifetime we're talking about, we have a desire to experience certain things. And the only way we can experience those things is to do things that feel instinctual and feel joyful and experiential, because that's how we grow.
Yeah.
We can't grow, like I can't grow staying here feeling safe. I have to do something to bust out of that, the smallness, so I can have a different experience. And so, yes, it's necessary, right? And so we all have to do it. Like some of us don't leave countries. Some of us may leave our jobs or do something different. It doesn't matter. But the truth is that without risk, we are not living. We're just existing.
Yeah, but that's not even risk. If I feel into it, this is trust. Trust
Right.
is different than risk. Trust, there is a warmth to it, right? There is also a knowingness. You have a knowingness that something beautiful is unfolding, or the path is maybe going to be a little difficult because you have to get adjusted to things, right? A new language, new culture, new energies, but they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been there twice to Portugal. I love the people. Talking about heart, when I was there, I thought, especially the last time, they laugh a lot, Portuguese. They have a love for each other. They see each other. They see everyone. Even if you don't speak the language, you can sense how you're being embraced.
Mm.
And that is from a heart to heart situation. Then you also, the old stones, the earth, the ground. And you're connecting now to again to a new, the third continent, right? So you're also in a way a connector, and you do that of the land, of the energies, because you're in a way soaking them in, re-illuminating, sending them out. So everyone, Jen is someone to synchronize with. She's so quiet about everything she does. She feels also, she can go right down to the point and look into your Akashic records if you desire so, and pull out anything you need. But that is really not so important. The importance of is to give you the trust to be able to believe in yourself, and to feel comfortable in believing in yourself, right, Jen? That's what I always sense about you.
Yes, that is very true. That this is about, the things you talk about, having more of what you want, knowing what you want, like coming to your own desire. That's the kind of the energy of trusting who you are or the experience you're having. And to me, when I talk about risk and trust are the same thing, because if you don't trust, you can't risk. Like people who just say risk things because they're in rebellion, right? That's a different kind of energy. That's an energy of, I'm going to prove to others that I can do what I want, something like that. That's not about trust. That's not about yourself, really. It's about others. But when you're working from within, when you're working from who I need to become, what I need to do, what is my journey, then it isn't about so much, even though I say risk, it even isn't as risky or doesn't feel risky. It just feels aligned, which is what you're talking about. It's like, yes, this is what I have to do. So to the external world, it could seem like it's something like, wow, that's so. And I'm not saying it isn't scary and like you don't have, right. It's not like, oh, yeah, I can do all this and no problem. Right. But of course, I have to have all those experiences. But on many levels, to me, it doesn't feel like when people say, like, wow, that's a big deal. I'm like, yeah, is it? Doesn't really feel like it, because obviously we all have our own areas where we need to, work on. But the thing is that when we know that we are here, that we belong, right? That we came here. Like, it's not like we came to the earth. Like I used to think that I came to the earth. Why am I even here? What's the meaning of my life? I came here for a reason. And the reason was to have an experience and to experience who I am and experience who I am with other people, with the land, with all of these things. So it isn't about me like making myself small or accommodating everyone else and giving up all the things I desire, which is what a lot of us are kind of taught. And we take it to heart, like talk about love, right? Like, oh, that's who I am. I'm supposed to be this quiet little person, or the person that fixes things, or or whatever, right? And instead it's like, no, I have all this expanse inside of me. I have this energy in my heart, this light in my heart, and I want to be like Superman. It's like that thing that we have to all be, is just tear off our clothes and go, can you see? Here it is. This is my life force. This is, this is what I want. This is what I want to experience. It's that energy that has been denied us, that fullness of life, that we can just experience everything. Like, we don't have to be happy all the time. it's just like, I want to experience it all. When I feel mad, when I'm angry, when I'm excited, illuminated, I want to feel it all. And I don't want to have to feel that I have to shrink down because I'm offending somebody because I'm having a moment, right?
Yeah, or to really feel our vastness, our multifacetedness, right? And for when I was listening to you, so it's that there's a certain adventure going to another country. I don't know. I never counted my 5, 6 countries, and there is always an adventure. There is a curiosity. There's so many new things to unfold, so many beautiful new experiences that are being created where I'm so surprised, right? Because most of the time, Jen, we can't fathom what arises. But invited, so there's something about you that you have this a traveling adventure, and I believe very, very strongly we are beings that are supposed to be movable. We're not fixated beings. This fixation, this holding still, that being stagnant hurts. It makes us sad. It makes us unhealthy. It makes us get old. It makes us separated from many, also from people, from the land. And if you invite that to go move, right? Even borders, I believe, should not be, and even maybe houses, and yeah, that is a beautiful thing to get accustomed, and it's also the time to explore this other side of yourself. You do that. I'm more and more doing that to see the world more, to get adjusted, because we were all traveling around the world, and this is starting again, and feeling that we are so similar. Yeah. And again, love everyone needs and wants and desires. So if you provide it to anyone, you're welcomed wherever you are in the world. You don't even have to be afraid. That's what I've learned. And Jen, maybe you've learned the same in all your travels and living in different continents, right?
Right. I mean, you can certainly be afraid if you want to. Like, that's the point, is we can be whatever we want to be. And it's to think about what is going to serve what we desire. Is that, yes, we have to risk that discomfort and that thing about maybe looking foolish or looking like we don't know something or needing to ask for help. These are all the things that actually make us more human and connect us to the divine and to the earth in much greater ways. So, that's the thing, is we have, and part of moving or going somewhere is that, like, we are forced to go, okay, nobody knows me, I don't know anything, I'm gonna have to do things, right? Whereas
point.
when we're sitting in our lives that we're familiar, we expect others to do things. Like, we want others to do the work, right? And when we go somewhere else, it's like, oh, I have to do the work. If I want people to know I'm new here, then I'm going to have to go out. If I want some kind of action or change, I'm going to have to do it. And that's really the lesson of our lives, is that we have to do the things, put it out there that we want to experience, because that's how things change.
Yeah, the word explore, not just the world, came, right? You're not going only out to explore the world and be the adventurer, but at the same time, you become the adventurer of yourself. You're exploring yourself. What is all within you? What is tucked there? And what arises comes out when you need it, right? So
Right?
it's really fun.
It is totally fun. Yes. And yes, and then there'll be awkward moments and uncomfortable moments, but that's just part of the experience or the exploration, is that. And I just wanted to touch on what you talked about, the idea of well, borders, etc. To me, it's about possessions. The word possessions, it's like having possessions, being possessed. being a possession of others is kind of how we think, like we belong to other people or other people belong to us, so we've got all our things, and that really does bog us down and make us super heavy, and it's hard to move when we have all those attachments that are not free attachments. Like we're not free to move because we've obligated to a possession, or we possess, where's my stuff? And when you move or recognize, like, yeah, I want to have an experience, you have to kind of move lightly. Like if you go on an expedition, if you're going in, which we are in the Aquarian age, we're going into this more of being explorers, we can't take too much baggage with us. And when I say baggage, I don't just mean our physical things, but all the ideas that we've kind of absorbed and put on our backs to travel and go, oh, life is hard, life is difficult. I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
what we were bound to believe.
Right, bound to, exactly. Right.
So where this is going to be really interesting. So where are people going to be able to connect with you? The website probably for sure, right? So they can soak you in. I think it's really important, as I said, to synchronize to your energies, because that facilitates really the quickest way, everyone, to transformation, to be able to travel without baggage, with lightness, with ease, with speed, becoming curious in others and other cultures, and seeing also similarities, and by that also recognizing so much more in you. And this Jen is really fantastic in igniting that spark within you. And because I think you're probably also going to have a new website, because there's not so much more fog. The fog is lifting for all of us, and you're moving away from a very fog. You're going to speak much more with the wind and the water. And there's this comes again this old stones, old wise material of rock. There's a warmth that and wisdom that is coming to my head. We can talk for hours, and maybe we just have to connect again then, when you've lived a little bit and you share with us how you have transitioned, what you have discovered, and what you're going to create anew. And so everyone, in the meantime, you can still catch her, Light in the Fog, right? That's your website. No.
Under my name.
Your
Jen.
name. Jen,
Yes.
you say it. It's better if you spell it, and I'll put it also in the notes for everyone.
Right, jenduchene.com. So JENDUCHENE.
Wonderful. Yeah, and then I have it written, as I said, in the notes. And everyone too, if you feel like it, Jen is also in our Facebook group, Moving to Oneness, where you can connect with her. She is so open, and feel free to reach out to her and ask her a little bit maybe of what arises in the next months or in the first few months with her in Portugal. So Jen, thank you very much for sharing with all of us your loving heart, your beautiful smile, and also these smiling eyes the whole time that you're sending to everyone. Do watch for a second the video and take a look at the painting that's behind Jen, that she has painted. And maybe that also inspires you to dip your hands into a paint or your pen or your brush and create your future, something for you to live into. Are there any final beautiful words? I'm not going to say final, but words for the journey of the listener?
Well, let me see. I'm going to see if the Akashic beings want to say something. So, what I am hearing is this idea of just opening your heart. We started with the heart, and the thing is to find that heart within you, is to find that light within you. Whatever it is, whether you call it the heart or not, is to know that there are windows and doors within you that allow you to feel the beauty of your soul, the beauty of who you are. And so just let the light in. Let the light in. Let yourself feel that love, that connection, and know that you're never alone. You're always in the light of the divine.
Thank you for those beautiful words. Yes, we're never alone. This is something that helped me in life when I discovered that. It doesn't matter in what situation, you can manage it, you get out of it, move out of it when you know you're never alone and you trust just that. Jen, thank you very much for your beautiful wisdom that you shared and that you shared your presence. From me, and I think I'm speaking also the words for all of the listeners, is the best of luck in unfolding yourself in Portugal and exploring and soaking in that energy and then sending it out beautiful all the way back to us so we can soak it in and get ignited to travel more.
Right.
Thank
And
you. So,
always.
okay. Everyone have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Meilin, your host of the Moving to Oneness show. Bye bye.